What's up, party people? Hope you're having a great day today. I'm aware the last video was a bit jank and a bit long, so we're trying to make this one a bit shorter and sweeter. Here's the basics. All 4 teams will start in one area. After a little bit of time, you'll be released into the map, which will start the first phase, which is the map roaming phase. During this phase, use your mini-map to plan what you're going to do with your team and what objectives you're going to go for. Now, after a little bit of time in the map roaming phase, you're going to get a notification that says loom rush incoming. So the loom rushes are an optional objective you can do to get more core health. You compete against the other 4 teams, and the loom rushes have different states. For example, there's one with different podiums where you have to stand on the podiums to get it to completion. So the best strat we've found so far is split the team into 2 groups of 2 and have 2 people on one podium at one time. So when it swaps randomly, you've always got one person at least moving to the right podium. Or you've got the spider fight, which the spider fight, the best strat is look for the mines. Look for the mines and bring him into the mines because they explode, but careful because they hurt players as well. After one team has placed first on the loom rush, obviously all teams get a different amount of reward based on where they place in the loom rush. But after the loom rush has been won, it spawns a portal back to your core. Be sure to take that portal because it starts the next phase. The next phase is the first core defense. So essentially you'll be up against infinite waves of enemies until one team dies. If one team dies, then it will start the next phase, which is another map roaming phase. After the second map roaming phase, again you get a notification, starts loom rush number 2. Loom rush 2 done. Now it's time to go back to your Evercore and defend it again until another team dies. At this point there's only 2 teams left, which means you're in the face-to-face. The face-to-face can consist of 2 things depending on the map. You can either have a boss fight, like in Mines or the Winter Harbour, or if you're in the jungle, it will be a modified version of the core defense, where you'll be in a mirrored lane-style area, where you've both got a core to defend, and based on what you're doing on your side, it will reciprocate on their end. An important note, whilst roaming the map, you may encounter some scattered loot. For example, if there's a mob with a shard on it, an item, that mob is going to be harder to kill. So make sure you've got enough time to do it before any loom rushes or anything else. You may also encounter 2 kind of veins, a shard vein or a gold vein, which you can both gather the resources from by damaging it. You'll also be able to encounter some shop, your normal shop, which is by your Evercore, which has a total of 20 items on it. Now these are map dependent, so they will change based on what map you're playing, so pay attention to that. They're also separated into categories. Pay attention to your hero scalings because the separate categories might not be the best items for your specific hero. Now there's a different kind of shop which is called the secret shop. Now that has a lot less items in it and they're a lot more expensive. However, they're very good, but these are not map dependent. There'll be a rotating, so every week or 2 weeks they're going to be trying a whole bunch of different stuff during the closed beta for the secret shop, but essentially it will be universal. So for example, if you look today in the secret shop and you know what items are in there, it's going to be the same no matter what map it is. However, there's no one location for the secret shop. It's scattered throughout the map, so you have to find it first. Moving on to the map, preface this with communicate with your teammates. If they're not in your voice comms in your Discord or whatever, you can always use G and V to ping them. They're different communication wheels, so be sure to use those to communicate effectively with your team based on what you want to do. Now, when you load into a match, you'll be able to see there's 4 different kinds of objectives: a generator, a crucible, a gauntlet, and battle horn. Generators are essentially mines. They look like the stack of 3 bricks. They mine a constant amount of the resource of the color that is indicated. The next objective we're going to cover is a crucible. So the crucible is a monster nest that will spawn a ton of monsters that you've got to kill, and the reward is based on the color yet again. Next up, we've got the gauntlets. The gauntlets are essentially a test of skill with a pot system. The pot will slowly accumulate based on how well you're doing, but if another team claims it first, be careful because you will not get the reward for it because the pot has been emptied. Last but not least, we've got the battle horns. You have to survive a minute, and the amount of monsters you kill modifies the reward you get. This is where if you complete a battle horn, it will also send a strike team to the enemy Evercores, or it can potentially also steal some loom from their Evercore, making them a lot weaker, since loom is the health points of your core. Now, one of the last things we're going to cover is contesting enemy mines. So if you complete a mine after an enemy has claimed it, it, you can reset it and deny enemies a lot more resources than they could have gotten. And last but not least, if your partner goes down, you'll see a circle above their head. They're not fully down yet. Now this is where it gets a bit different to other genres, because if you die, you usually have a respawn timer. If they're down, they're not fully out yet. They have a circle that's counting down. You have to stand on top of them and get the circle going up all the way before the circle going down goes all the way. So if the circle going down all the way ends or they give up, then they will get a respawn timer. But we'll keep it short and sweet. That's where I'm going to end this basics video. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to see some gameplay, come join me on Twitch. Links in the description. Thanks again, Izzy, for helping me with the first part. That said, I will see you in Loom Heroes.